Well, hello everyone, it's me, Solid, and great to have you here. So we're actually going to be reviewing the second White Shadow beta this time around. We're going to be testing it a little bit as well, possibly. Not necessarily with the intention of getting here, but since there is only one banner currently on well, one character in one banner currently, it kind of fits to see how she's going to handle. At the same time, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think she will perform kind of as expected, since she is kind of, like I said, an SP booster from what they mentioned in the banner itself. She recovers her SP and boosts all allies each time with charge. So she increases charge more drastically compared to other stuff before. I think she probably is going to be, again, a booster. Honestly, I thought it said like SP boost herself and allies, but if it just is herself, and if it's charged, it might not be quite as good as I thought it was going to be. And again, some of these banners are for people that just like the characters. I personally find her super mediocre, not quite as entertaining as other characters. Other characters have a little bit more screen time in the shows, of course, but me personally, I don't like Beta herself. I love her VA, but oh dear Lord, she is blander than like a slice of plain bread. But enough enough roasting of Beta today. We're actually going to review her banner if it's worth it. On a practical sense, I personally am not going to summon on her because just have no desire of it. But at the same time, for those of you that are considering whether to summon on this outfit or on this outfit of Beta, or if you're going to summon on the new bunny characters that is going to be releasing in the next patch in about a day or so, in the bunny fight, again the casino jackpot, the kind of essentially like their equivalent of bunny girl event, right? And they're gonna be releasing a bunny alpha, and they're gonna be releasing, I believe, a not quite so bunny, but like a very casino-esque outfit for Yukime, which I'm gonna be so for real with you. Depending on what the Shadowfest after this one is gonna be, it might be worth it, because it really looks that good. But again, since Shadowfest come and go as they please, it is really up to you to decide whether you want it or not. At the end of the day, I'm not your dad. I'm just a guy talking to you on the internet. But as it stands now, I think at least on the Reddit, from what I've seen, personal opinion on, she seems to be like a pretty normal character. She seems not to be adding too much, and I think charge in itself hasn't really been adding so much as I wish it had. And it is particularly for that reason that I just am not entirely sure what they're entirely going to be going forth. Charge in itself is a very neat mechanic, but I do think it probably needs to double up the potential on it. Because as it stands now, 10,000 extra damage is not really doing it, especially since it takes, essentially 3 to 4 stacks for it to matter, and you might as well just go with a character that has multiple attacks, such as in the case for, somebody, like Gamma. Gamma herself will probably do more damage than she really needs to. She's probably one of the best characters, and just really doesn't really rely so much on the necessity of a damage cap. And the reason behind it is because each damage instance, so if you hit 4 times, each one of those instances has a potential of hitting damage caps. So upon her hitting her ultimate, she essentially hits 4 times. Each one of those has the potential of hitting damage cap. So that means that she has a potential hitting damage cap 4 times, which is 4 times the damage of say a character like Alpha, who really only has 1 ultimate, which even at A5 doesn't really do much for her, which again is really hard to say because again she grants herself 2 charge, which is really okay. I believe from before her actual stuff, it really didn't do much. like, again, it is one of the first two that you awaken, but at the same time, it is one of those things that I think she is really kind of not so much falling behind, but I just don't think it's quite as good as it could be. And again, I have invested a lot into her by accident, but I like Alpha. She's in my favorite characters list. But again, at the same time, I can say what I want to, but it doesn't really change it. And again, I have two charged characters. In my opinion, the best one so far has probably been White Suit Epsilon, because she actually her stuff actually scales based on however much her allies receive damage-wise. So each time damage receives, there's a cooldown of 3 seconds, but it grants 2 charge for the first and second rate elemental allies, right? So she grants allies 2 charges, and if she's awakened twice, she'll essentially grant 4 charges or not charge. She'll grant 4 instances of the increased damage cap, which again I think is fine, but at the same time, it's not quite as good as it could be. Let me double check if that's what she does as well. Yeah, charge effects. Inflicts 3 hits, so that's good. I'll give her credit for that. 1,000 damage. This is essentially 2,400 plus another 600 damage, so that's kind of fine. Further inflicts another 20% of damage multiplied by number of charges on self. Recovers ownership of 30% multiplied by total charges on self stacked. Oh, okay. So is she gonna be like a charge buffing ally? That might actually be pretty good, actually. She might essentially just be able to pop off on her own pretty fast. Now, here's where it would be really good. If Beta was a red ally, I could actually use her, because she would actually just make damage pop up really crazily. Because then I could actually use her effectiveness with White Shadow Epsilon to kind of scale her charge damage increasingly so. But sadly, again, I don't know what it is with them making these charging characters really not quite as usable as it could be. And again, it can be a really overpowered skill to a certain degree, but at the same time, for them to be remotely usable, you need to unlock at least a couple of their awakenings. For each attack, raises hidden technique damage inflicted by 10%, which is perfectly fine, but at the same time, you're raising the damage limit by 10,000, which is not really a lot. Especially when a certain rank up can increase your damage cap by about like 100,000. Like 10,000 is not really that much in the long. It's like a 0.25%, right? I think like how much is it? Like it's like 4%. I think it's how much it is. It's about 4%. A 4% increase in possible damage, and again, they stack, but I don't think they actually last as long as they should do. Yeah, charge. Let me double check how much the charge actually lasts. Hold on. It doesn't actually tell you. I do believe they actually kind of disappear. For 60 seconds. Some of these ones are granted for 60 seconds and last throughout the entirety of the match. But I'm not, because I've seen some disappear, which I find very bizarre, and I do believe it is a removable buff. So it can sometimes just not mean a thing. Let me double check. It's right here. No, it is not removable. Okay, that's good. Fantastic. Lovely. It might actually be pretty good then. But again, I think that they have a lot of potentiality with them, and she might actually, if she goes into another yellow banner, she might be really like good. Because again, I think that the best character so far from the White Shadows is probably Epsilon, in my opinion, because she also has an invincibility ultimate, which basically means you can survive any one hit when you have your ultimate charge. But setting that aside, let's actually review it now properly. So again, the recovery itself is 30%, which is, I do think, if it's like continuous, this may be really good. Recover own SP with 30% multiplied by total charge on self, which again is good. It'd be nicer if it was a little bit longer, but again, they don't want you to like just essentially ultimate really fast. She also cancels buffs, which I think is really good. Inflicts 3 hits, also cancels buff effects. Further raises, is it all cancels buff effects on all enemies? It would be really nice if it was. That'd be great to test, but I can't really. Oh, it just cancels cancels a buff effect. So it's a singular one. So one versus 2. That's fine. So it cancels 1 buff effect versus cancels 2 buff effects. That's acceptable. I think again, with some of like the scaling on some stuff, it can be a little bit obnoxious. She seems to be an AoE unit, and her ultimate is a single target, so that's fine. That's actually pretty good because I think Alpha, from my understanding, she's pretty much a single target unit, which again is not bad, but it does kind of tend to very much so like scale differently. Because she's a very selfish support, but she also has the crit rate passive, which basically, like, she has like so much charge, it's not even funny. If any of these characters had Cher's charge, that would be insanity. The only one that so far has it is Epsilon, but she's basically by herself. Again, I don't mind them basically being selfish attackers, but sometimes it doesn't really do as much as I wanted to. Oh, okay, so this is good right here. Inflicts 3 hits on all enemies, also cancels. Yeah, we know that one. It's a they double the amount of damage received for blue elementals, so that's pretty good. They also increase the buff on this by like 60%. Yeah, 20, 20, 20, so that's like 60%. So that's like you're hitting again. And it's like hitting one more time again, and then some. That's not bad. I think it's like an increase of about. So they cancel double the buffs, so double the buffs, double the damage received, and then again an extra hit, so it's like a 30% increase or so, a little bit like 34, 35, probably because it is 37, which is not bad. Raises attack of all allies by 10%. That's okay. 25% for 15 seconds. That's fine. Also grants charge for 60 seconds. Further grants a charge for 60 seconds if elf. So she would actually not be too bad with alpha, actually. So again, this is a good example of somebody being a charging elf. This is good. This is what I'm talking about. Each time charge is granted on ally, recovers her own SP by 100, raises attack for all allies by 10%. That's decent, actually. This is probably the best of its passive. Probably including probably this one. Brightness Rain is also really good. This is not bad, but I wouldn't put it under. I think that the best one is this, because this lets you take advantage of the charge effect way more. And I hope this actually means you get 4 charges at once. It might just mean that you get 2, but we'll see. And let me see. Again, the passive is fine. Let's see her weapon. She also grants charge effect on all yellow elemental allies for 60 seconds as well, so that's pretty good. Each time hidden technique is activated by ally, raises damage inflicted for all allies by 10%. That's not bad for 30 seconds. Is there a cooldown? There's not a cooldown. That's actually really good. Also raises crit damage by 10% for 10 seconds. 10%. each time hitting can be staffed by allies. So we need somebody that can attack really fast. Okay. That actually is not a bad combo, actually. Race his speed by 10%. This might actually not be too bad. Especially with somebody that needs like that ults really fast. This actually might be like a really good sub for one of my characters. The only problem I have is that as it stands now, Ada is kind of like a very, very good standing for one of my sub DPSs. But let me see. We're gonna go with Blue Elemental. Okay, and let's actually test her out a little bit in practice, because she actually does seem to be pretty good. Why the flying fuck are there 3 of them? That is bizarre. Interesting. That got me scared. I'm not gonna hold it. It doesn't really matter. If we're gonna go with what's with Epsilon. I have probably one of the best yellow teams in the game, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. Again, some of the best teams in the game. I usually would use Ada, but since we have the new Alpha here, or the new Beta, we're gonna test her versus herself out. Again, I don't actually have her weapon, so we're just gonna test her out like this. Obviously, sadly, it would be better if I had her weapon, but maybe, you know what? Let me test her out like this, right? So, A5 versus A5. It gives a 30%, 50% discount. Holy shit! Yeah, I'm missing out on the fucking weapon. Holy shit! I didn't know it was this fucking high. What the hell? Damn, dude. At that point, I might just replace Alpha, because Alpha doesn't really do much other than give them crit rate. That is kind of insane. At the same time, though, since I don't actually have her weapon, it's probably better to have her on Onslaught than Ada. That is kind of insane, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, we'll try it like this. But we're gonna see it like kind of like a very like A5 Ada versus A5 Beta. That's what's up. Alright, so lowers damage and lowers defense. Okay. Oh. Bam, bam. And she gives herself charge, which is nice, but it doesn't really do much for the party. The SP booster is really fast, and again, since Gamma is kind of consuming all their gauges, it kind of increases relatively fast. Alright, I'm gonna pop it off. Charge, lower defense boost, this, and then this. That was just a weak combo. Alright, with this output, we can get like a decent crit damage output. Pop that, pop that. That one, this one, and then that one. Bop it. Pop that. We're gonna pop the 5-1, the 5 combo. We're gonna make sure that we pop that one, that one, that one, and so. Again, I think personally, it probably is better to replace Alpha in this case. Since she doesn't actually provide much support and is mostly a selfish single target kind of character. Pop that, and then we're gonna pop this, and pop the ultimate finally. So it's the hefty 1 million damage. Again, she does a lot of damage. She does a lot of damage. She's just kind of discounting our stuff and things, which again is totally fine. But with kind of like the amount of boosting we get is kind of like one of those things that's kind of weird. Again, the biggest thing with whatchamacallit, Ada is that she can basically keep your team alive with one of her passive skills. Which is inflicts heal on an enemy and also reduces SP by 300, which basically will keep you alive in a lot of scenarios. And I kind of, you know what I realized, by the way? I don't use her in like actual fights, which is kind of the insane part. I actually opt for I've been often out for Victoria because she actually deals more damage. Yeah, if I had an option, I would probably use her. Because Epsilon, or Beta is actually really good. Yeah, her kit's really good. Races attack and races speed on top of it, by the way, as well, which is really good. I think the biggest part of her kit, to be honest with you, again, is the fact that she grants allies and herself that boost. But the fact is, when allies hit or proc an ultimate, right, that gives her and the entire party buffs, which is why Gamma comes in really in clutch. It is again very logical for me to like put her in like in two white suits, white shadow characters together. But at the same time, it is a little bit incoherent for me to put Alpha in there. But it is kind of one of those things that it kind of balances itself out. She's A5 compared to my A2 Ada, which again, she's not necessarily bad, but I don't have her weapon, and I can't really make use of her entire kit as a whole because of that. But I'm setting that aside. Let's actually continue. And let's see. Let's try this out like this. Yeah, that's fine. Because I think they're gonna increase overall damage cap by a ton, but let's see how much it. Whoa. Let's see how much it actually does as a whole. Because yeah, I believe she's like a booster for herself, and since she boosts herself up, Gamma's gonna. Holy, what the? How does she already have her ultimate? What? That is so fast. That is actually genuinely so fast. I know that's A5, but that's insane. She already does 294,000 damage? Holy shit. Holy, what the fuck? I might need to go back on the video to check out who did that much damage. That's insane. That's already that's 1.3 million already? $770,000. That's not even that hard. Brother, how? Yep. Pop that off. I think hers is a little bit more important. Maybe not. 37,000. 13,000. Dude, she's hitting damage cap every single time, basically. Holy shit. Dude, Alpha's hitting damage cap basically every single time. What the fuck? Yep. Yeah, like what it was definitely it's definitely Alpha once seeing damage cap. 39,000. That kind of missed out the credit on that, but it's fine. Which is yeah, hold on, wait. That's how many? Holy shit, dude! Holy shit! Dude! Oh my god! She's got, dude, she also has, does she also have a damage cap? Or does she not? Yeah, she's got 2 charge. It's not a lot, but it's got something. Holy fucking shit! Raises crit damage, raises speed, raises HP, that's fine, that's whatever. Raises the damage and has shield, crit damage. Dude, what does Alpha have so much fucking charge? Holy shit! Oh my god, a 1.6 million hit is crazy. Dude, I might actually have to summon on her. That is actually insane numbers. And again, it's an A5 beta versus, or an A5 Ada, let's see, 223,000. Damage cap. Damage cap. Holy shit! Dude, I've gotten so many goddamn ultimates, it's not even funny. That's... Dude, I'm starting to get, like... I'm getting tripped out at how much damage they're actually outputting. Also, don't know why she's not getting past the 300... Oh my god! 3 damage caps? That's on just the attack, bro. What the fuck? 1.5 million. Holy shit! Dude, they're not even comparable! What the fuck? Jesus Christ, what in the flying fuck? Dude! Holy shit! I'm gonna be so completely honest with you. I wasn't expecting them to do that good together. I know I have an A5 Alpha, but I did not expect the synergy on them to be so high. And even she did shit compared to fucking Gamma. And even Gamma did shit compared to fucking Beta. But here's the thing. But wait, there's more. My Gamma is A1, and she doesn't have her fucking weapon. Holy shit! I do think it's because of the synergies in between it, but that's insanity. How much numbers that is? 6.8 million damage. I don't like Beta, but fuck the numbers don't lie then. And again, I fucking hate Beta. What the fuck happened? And I know what happened, mind you. I kind of know. It is a mixture of charge and the fact that I'm pretty sure. Let me double check actually, because I think the damage buff scales. Does Alpha also buff the entire party's attack as well? Raises own attack. Yeah, no, that's fine. Raises attack of all allies by 10% for 22 seconds. Further increases it by 20% if attacker. She's buffing. She herself buffs her and an other ally by 30%. No fucking wonder. Dude, that scaled up so quickly. It's not even funny. Yeah, no. By the way, when hidden technique is activated, reaches on its viewers by 10% for 60 seconds. Dude, holy shit! And again, the only character that I have that's fast A1, that's insane, is my Alpha. She did the second most damage. Honestly, I think it's between the synergy of the two that's actually insane. And Gamma did second highest damage. Alpha did third highest damage. I am genuinely so impressed. I might actually summon. That's insanity. Holy fucking shit. I have no words other than that bitch does a lot of damage. I might need a second to really think about it, because this is not gonna be the summon video. If I make a summon video, it's gonna be probably tomorrow. After I take some naps and I go over my dailies and stuff. I also gotta collect possibly another 10,000 gems from the game. So I'll do that a bit later. Fuck me, that damage is not even that's not okay. I know it's A5. I fucking know that for a fact. But that's crazy. If I can even get half as good as that. Because here's the thing, right? I was using their trial Ada. So that's the replacement that I'm thinking of doing. That's what I'm thinking of replacing. Their scaling is much better than I thought it was by a mile. That is so much better than I thought. And here's the thing, I'm gonna be super real with you. I didn't realize that how much the buff scales so fast. And I'm gonna be so for real with you. I don't like the fact that I have to ultimate that much, but the fact is that I can ultimate that much. If I had Gamma's weapon, I would be able to ultimate even more than I did before. Because she raises the SP boost rate of all allies by an additional 10%. Brother, oh my fucking god. I'm gonna need a second. I don't want to make rash decisions, but rash decisions in the numbers. I like the numbers. Numbers don't lie. The numbers are very massive. Big numbers. Bigger numbers. I don't like Beta, but I like the numbers that are just popping out. And I'm gonna repeat it, by the way. I'm using my personal characters in the majority of this. The only character that I'm not using, that's not mine, is the A5 Beta. And even if she does half as good as she did on that, she'd still basically be helping me out with nearly double the fucking output. Because I was using what I would personally use, which is an A5, which again is my Ada is worse than their Ada, which I was using their Ada to compare to their Alpha. So it's like an A5 Alpha versus an A5 Beta. Which one's better? And clearly the answer is an A5 Beta is better, by a mile. And I'm so flabbergasted by how fast Beta got her first ultimate. I'm gonna be so fair with you. I'm flabbergasted how fast she got her own ultimate. And if it's even if it's half as good, that is some insane speed even still. Because like put it like if it ends up being like 9 million, I'm pretty sure it did like I don't think I did. I'd have to go check out the recording a little bit later, but I'll probably be doing that if I do summon on the video, or do a summon. That's kind of it. I'm actually very, very impressed by Beta. I was shitting on her in the beginning. I see the fucking numbers you do. Holy shit. Hey, another thing, I compare, like, if I compare it to, like, the kind of, like, the placement of, or the comparison to, like, somebody like, whatchamacallit, Emilia, right? Emilia from Race Zero doing that collab. That's a good example of a good character. The only problem that I have with that character is that, again, it's a limited character. If Beta ever returns on the banner, I might actually for sure summon on her. She's actually that good. And if I do summon on her, it's gonna be a bit of a kind of like a road, because that is insanity. Again, I'm not a numbers person. I'm a waifu person, but at the same time, the numbers are so stupid that I might actually go do it. Because again, like I have to be like really wowed to really like to really do much. But setting that aside, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Oh god, I'm getting a little bit tired. Mind you, by the way, I'm still missing their weapon as well, or like a secondary weapon, which means I might actually even be able to output even more damage on top of it. None of it would matter, because every single time I kept saying damage cap on combos, which is very rare for me to see consistently, which fucking that is some mad insane work. That's insanity. I'm gonna be so fair with you. Would I recommend everybody summoning her? If you'd like. It just doesn't actually seem to be super terrible. If she comes back in like a premium summon banner, and you see her and you want to select on a character, this is a character I would recommend wholeheartedly to summon on. She's actually not as terrible as I thought she was going to be. With the bunny suits, I'm afraid to have like the same shit happen with Gamma as Gamma happened, where I really love Gamma, like I really do, and I missed her banner. Because I was waiting on the new character with the new Aurora to come out, and she just disappointed me with how selective she was. And again, having like a full team of yellow elves is again very, very, very specific. Well, not very specific. It's specific enough, but since elves have a very broad they have a better variability than humans, it is much better to have yellow elves than it is to have yellow humans, which I still don't understand what they had done on the Sanctuary a couple weeks back, because that felt like BS in my opinion. But setting that aside, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you like Beta? Are you gonna summon her? Did you change your mind after watching this video? Did you not change your mind? Did you say, fuck her, I don't like the numbers, I don't care, I'm all for Alpha Bunny Suit Alpha, like in like literally tomorrow, about tomorrow. I'm all for her. Or Yukime a casino outfit. Let me know. I'm again. Feel free to discuss in the comments below. Tell me about it. Again, I'm not a glazer. I don't like giving like games on that because again, it does seem to be a very strong character. A lot stronger than I was giving her credit for. It didn't look like she was going to do as much as I thought it was. Her kit does look to be very, very versatile, which I'm going to give her kudos for. But at the same time, she does seem to be a very relatively high investment character, especially if the only way to get that amount of damage is with A5. We are going to double check on her awakenings just now, because I believe I did that. But then we're going to kind of hop off now. But awakening skill 1. This is probably okay. Awakening skill 2 is probably the best one, so this is not bad. Very early on. The fact that it's only rank 2 is pretty good. Oh my. Really? That's pretty awesome, actually. This is pretty good. This is probably third most important thing, or probably like fourth, which is probably why this is fine. Getting 150 extra it is doubled all allies attack for 10 seconds every time charge is applied. This is definitely very important as well. I don't know if it's her granted or if it's just any ally granting charge. It might be just her. Very, very interesting. I think her entire awakening kit's not too bad, actually. This is a little bit not super high important. I think that the most important one is her skill, too. But I do see how this can be definitely important as well. Because it's only for 10 seconds. There's a bit of a cooldown on it, but that means you can basically get 10 buff of these, which is pretty important as well. But I'm not super upset about it. I think her hidden technique's probably very, very important as well. I'm genuinely very impressed by her. It's not too bad on the awakening, which very, very, very happy to see. Honestly, with a character this strong, I am gonna give her the benefit of that here because she's actually really good, extremely good. But again, be aware that the rates aren't like the selection manners, which is gonna basically double the rates on some of them, especially the other stuff. She is a point. You have like a third of a chance of getting her, at 0.69, probably less than a third actually. So she is definitely a very odd chance of getting her early on. If you're planning to summon her, be aware of the oddities. Be sure to spend the 56,000 getting her, and get another that's like 8,000, 9,000 odd, or less than 9,000, but about 9,000 extra gems for her weapon, because I do think it is relatively important, as all characters are. Anyway, that's been it for this video. Hopefully you enjoy this. Again, comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you going to summon her or not? It is what it is. I'm not your dad. These are just my thoughts. I'm very impressed. More impressed than I've been on some other characters. By a mile. That is genuinely surprising. A lot. But setting that aside, hopefully, again, bye-bye. Have a good one. Let's say that. Bye-bye.